The next one we're going to look at here is number 24, and that's where we have this, again, greatest integer less than or equal to, we're going to round. Now notice the 3 is multiplied out in front of that, so you have to round first and then multiply by 3. Okay, if the 3 was inside, it'd be different. You'd multiply whatever you're sticking in for x by 3 and then do the rounding after that. So that's the difference on some of these if the operation's inside or outside. So let's go next slide here. Just have this example a little bit bigger for you. And again, we're looking at, and we're going to start, it doesn't really matter where you start your table at. I'm going to start it at -3 here. So if I put -3 in, it's 3 and then -3. Well, this part of it right here, it's already an integer. So we round to the integer below. Well, it's already an integer, -3. We multiply it by 3. -3 times 3 is -9. Okay. If I put -2 in, we have 3 multiplied by -2. Okay, well, we round first. -2 is already an integer, so that's going to be -6. Now, we have to look at what goes on between -3 and -2. Okay, kind of in that interval. And I'll just pick one decimal, and I just like to pick the one that's halfway between them, so I'll pick -2.5. So if I put -2.5 in there, I have to round first. Well, the integer below -2.5 is -3. So I'm rounding here first, and then I multiply it by 3, that's -9. So everything between -3 and -2, all the decimals and fractions are going to be at -9. And then we got -1.5, -1. Let's see what happened. We round -1.5 down to -2, multiply it, so that's going to be -6. And you're going to kind of see a pattern develop down that y column. -1 is already an integer, so it's already rounded. Multiply it by 3, it'd be -3, -1/2 would be -3. 0 is already an integer. We rounded the integer. That's 0 times 3 is 0. +1/2. We round it down to the integer below, which is 0. Multiplied by 3 at 0. And you can kind of see what's going on here. At 1, round 1, it's already an integer. 3 times 1 is 3. And I'll stop at 1.5. That's also going to be 3. So if we take a look at this, these are going to be short little segments. Okay. So at -3, we're at -9. That kind of goes off my grid. At -2, okay, this point right here, we're at -6. So -2, -6 is going to be about right here. Closed circle. Okay, at -1.5, we're at -6. So there's going to be a short little segment there over to -1, and then an open circle, because actually at -1 we jump up 3 units to -3. So at -1 we're right here, and then there's going to be, that's a closed circle, from -1 all the way over to till we get to 0. We're at -3. That's an open circle. At 0 it jumps up here, closed circle. Okay, so basically these steps are 1 unit in length, and they're jumping up 3 units every time. So that's an open circle, and then at 1, we're up here at 3, closed circle. 1 unit in length, because everything between 1 and 2 is at 3, and then it's going to jump up another 3 units. And I don't have that in my table, but it's going to jump. You can kind of see the pattern. Closed circle, over to open, jumps up. This continues this way, and that continues that way. Now we do have to do domain and range. So the domain, again, where one little segment ends, the next one starts. Okay, so from open circle it jumps up to the closed circle. So every little value on the x-axis is covered, so that's all reals. Okay, the range, though, the ones that only jump up 1 unit at a time, the range is all integers. But now notice we're skipping from, if you look down this column, and this continues out and continues out, those are all multiples of 3, and we're jumping up 3 units. These steps are 3 units up. So you would say all integers that are multiples of 3. And I didn't write that very neat, but all integers that are multiples of 3.